In March of 2022, the MoonSwatch killed the Maurice Lacroix Aikon Tide. And here we are to talk about it, thanks to Jody from Just One More Watch. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Chase, and this is All Things Random, mostly watch reviews with some random stuff sprinkled in between. I have a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline, so if you're here, do me a favor, and I bring you value. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything, but it really does help the channel. Hit the notification bell for all those videos, and let's discuss why I bought this Maurice Lacroix Aikon Tide, specifically in the white and black. I'll explain the white and black colorway later, but why did I buy this watch? Well, I'm a huge fan of the Omega MoonSwatch. In fact, I bought two. Last year on my honeymoon when I went to Italy, I bought the MoonSwatch white Snoopy, and honestly, it's one of my favorite watches. I love that watch. It's pretty cool, and I never wear it. And I never wear it because of the materials used in it. Now, I had no idea about the Maurice Lacroix Aikon Tide. Now, I've looked at Maurice Lacroix in the past, but they are an overpriced watch that isn't, to me, worth the price point. Now, I say that because a lot of watches that are around $1,000 to $2,000 are seemingly overpriced when you compare them to other watch brands, even in the Swiss market that's far more affordable. But this watch I picked up for a hell of a deal at just under $200. Now, that's already cheaper than the Omega MoonSwatch, and the Omega MoonSwatch has already lost its sort of shine, and now it's lost its appeal. And I look at this Maurice Lacroix, and I am I'm actually more ecstatic about wearing this watch than I've ever been a MoonSwatch. So without any further ado, let's flip the camera around and get right into the hands-on portion of the review. Okay, and here is the Maurice Lacroix Aikon Tide. So we're going to do a quick unboxing, then do a full hands-on of this watch. It has a warranty card right on the top. It comes in a bag, but not just does it come in a bag, but it also, this is kind of funny, but it also comes in a coffee cup. It's funny because my wife and I absolutely love coffee. We have an espresso machine in our kitchen, so I think that's pretty funny. Now, I wasn't going to open this up prior. You see there's no stickers or anything on it because I did an unboxing already. I didn't like the way the video turned out, and then when I got my hands on this, I started to mess with it a lot more, and I realized this is way better than I ever anticipated. This thing is far, far better than I ever anticipated. Just the sheer construction of this watch, and again, MoonSwatch killed this. And so did their pricing because it's ridiculous that it was so expensive. But MoonSwatch killed this watch. But this thing is built 10 times better using better materials than the MoonSwatch. So let's clear this out and do some quick hands-on dimensions and then my thoughts at the end. Okay, so now some basic diameters of this watch. This is 40 millimeters in diameter. It is 10.8 millimeters thick. The overall lug to lug, not including the integrated strap, is just over 47 millimeters, and this thing actually wears quite nice on the wrist. If you look here at my 7¼ inch wrist, this thing fits perfectly, and it's extremely comfortable, especially with that round rubber. I don't know what kind of strap this is. I don't know if it's FKM or silicone. They don't really say, but it is a very comfortable and durable strap. In fact, one of the things that I will say about this watch compared to like the MoonSwatch, which it did outshine this watch, and this watch was way too expensive when it first came out, but this thing is, you can tell the construction of this is far better than any MoonSwatch. MoonSwatch feels like a toy, even though this is made of ocean plastic, and it is recycled. It says right there, made of recycled material, ocean plastic. Even though this is made of plastic. Like the MoonSwatch feels very light, even though this is only 56 grams. This thing feels quite substantial, especially in the hand. And this thing offers 100 meters of water resistance, a screw down crown. Let's go ahead and talk about that right now. You can see here, clearly it's Swiss made, just underneath the 6 o'clock indice. It is Swiss made. Unknown what type of movement is in this watch. Now, I considered taking off the case back and finding out, but I really don't want to ruin the water resistance of this watch, and I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to keep it or whether or not I'm going to end up reselling it. Everything I always review on the channel, if I end up reselling it, is down below in watches for sale that I've reviewed. They're always like 50% off of what I've purchased them for, so it's a good deal for you guys, and gives me some monetary funding to get another watch. So it is a Swiss quartz movement. Pull the crown out once and you can change the date. Pull the crown out again, and of course it does have hacking, and you can change the time. Everything functions very nicely. I love that this has 100 meters of water resistance, and not only does it have 100 meters of water resistance, but it has a sapphire crystal, which, you know, Omega MoonSwatch did not have. It had a plastic crystal that scratched up so easily. You had to have Pilot Watch. This is sapphire crystal. Now, one of the things it does also have, you see here, are quick release spring bars. So if you want to take the strap off, you can take the strap off, and I'm sure they have other straps. Now, this thing is now discontinued, but there are other straps you can get if you want to change the strap. I don't think it's necessary, but it's interesting to see. Now, when you look close at the dial is textured and it looks very, very nice. Applied indices, baton indices all the way around with sword hands, and of course the ticking second hand. Now, whatever movement they used in this actually hits the minute markers extremely closely. This is one of those things that drives a lot of people nuts when they buy affordable watches. So let's talk about the affordability of this watch, the Aikon Tide. Now, this thing, when it first came out, was $800. Of course, nobody's going to spend $800 on a Maurice Lacroix. Here's one of the issues I have with Maurice Lacroix, is the fact that they are slightly overpriced in comparison to other Swiss watch brands with similar designs. If you look at the Tissot PRX, that thing comes in with the automatic at $600, maybe $750. These, if you buy the stainless steel version, come in of the Aikon, come in at like $1,700. And those have the Sellita SW200 movements in them, so they're not an in-house movement. It is just a much more expensive brand. In fact, what it's indicative of for me is something like a Baume Mercier, like it has basic Swiss stuff, and you're buying the name brand, and it's sort of like a niche brand. That is what Maurice Lacroix is to me. It is a niche brand. Even though everything is done quite nicely, even on this rubber strap, everything feels well made and well done. And I still wouldn't pay $800 for a plastic watch, but I did pick this up on Ashberry for $200, which absolutely is a great deal, especially if you want something slightly different. Now, they do have different colors of this watch, but I like the white and black because it matches my car. I have a 2022 Dodge Challenger TA. I will show you right here, and it has knuckle white with satin black finish. This thing is going to be my daily weekend wearer. Anyway, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Now, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I bought this watch because Jody did a similar video. He went actually on Ashford.com, which is actually where I picked this up, and he was able to find the one that he bought for less than $200. This was just around $200, and I was happy to pick it up. I found a lot of affordable watches around $100 to $300, and this watch is, again, one of my favorites. Maybe it's just because it's brand new and it still has that honeymoon appeal to it, but I really do love it. Now, I don't love the one Jody did, which is why I picked the white and black one, because it just matches my car perfectly. It really does. And I love the fact that the materials on it are a lot better quality and a lot more durable than something like the MoonSwatch. Now, I keep comparing them back and forth because, again, it was released the same week. Nobody knows about the Aikon Tide, but everybody knows about the MoonSwatch. But to be fair, it's just not the release of the Omega MoonSwatch that really put Maurice Lacroix on the back burner. I honestly think it's the release of the MoonSwatch, and it was the price point of like $700 to $900 for a plastic ocean watch. Now, the material used is recycled plastic from the ocean, and that's really not enough for me to spend a bunch of money on a watch. That being said, $200 is quite a steal. And it feels so good on the wrist. I can't even tell you. And just the quality, I've never owned a Maurice Lacroix, but this makes me want to go out and actually buy one of the Aikons, but of course, not at full price. I would buy one of the stainless steel Aikons for probably around $1,000 if I could find it, but I wouldn't spend $1 over that because, again, you have the Tissot PRX as a competitor, and it's even far cheaper than $1,000. Anyway, I would love to hear your guys' opinion in the comments down below. If you're still here, again, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really does help the channel. I have a lot of videos coming up in the future. What I'm trying to do this summer, because I'm just inundated with all these reviews and all these ideas for videos, is I'm going to try to release a few videos a week. Now, I know I've been inconsistent in my uploads, and that's because I just have a job. And when they call me in for overtime, it's really hard to give up a double day where they're paying me double the amount to come in. So that I'm just trying to get ahead financially, and any human being probably understands that. But I have a lot of videos that I need to release, so I'm going to be uploading a lot more coming up in the future. So stick with me, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one.